I saw something Mark Cuban said the other day, and he said 3 or 4 years, face-to-face meetings will go through the roof.
And why would you pick a seminar?
Back in the day, we did a lot of seminars, a lot of workshops, and what I loved about that is just face-to-face, talking to people, and we'd have an offer at the end of those seminars.
What did you do that made the webinar or seminar successful?
One of the key things is
Scott Wilson is the founder of Digital Influence, a New Zealand-based digital marketing and host to one of New Zealand's top marketing podcasts, Marketing for Business.
one thing I started to realise in marketing and in business, and it was a formula, and I've put this formula together, and it's basically consistency of message plus frequency of reach to become relevant. You should be going and talking to people first, not creating something. People buy what they want, not what you think they need.
How do I even get people to trust me, know me?
Do short form video content. One video I always tell people to create is,
Are you still sending stuff by post?
I'm not giving you the strategy.
Quick one, Mina here. Thank you for watching this episode. I appreciate you. Thank you for all your support. One thing that you can do for me is to please hit the subscribe button below. I promise you that if you hit subscribe, I'm going to work hard to make sure that my episodes are really good, that will get better and better. So, do we have a deal? Okay, back to the episode. If you were thinking about going back into if you think about the first moment you wanted to start a business, and how did you get that product market fit? Thinking, I'm going to start something and I know it's going to work.
I know it's going to work.
Or how do I know it's going to work? Yeah. How did you know it's going to work?
Originally, I worked in the corporate world, right? So I was in the corporate world, and marketing was totally different than what we do today for small businesses or medium-sized businesses. So I was working in the corporate world, and one thing I realised, I was looking after a group of resellers, business owners throughout New Zealand, and they were putting money as a medium-sized business into a big pot for the corporate marketing team to spend. And I realised that wasn't working. You know, to spend $250,000 in a weekend campaign and not measure or test any of the results, I was like, hang on, this is not, our money, because I treated it as our money, my resellers shouldn't be putting money into that bucket. So I started to look at marketing and start to understand marketing, to the point I left that corporate world and started my own business, built it up and sold it. But when I started Digital Influence, I wanted to do the same as well. I wanted to actually, we don't deal with corporates. We deal with mum and dad business owners, multi-location, a lot of franchises, a lot of New Zealand-wide businesses, but I wanted to make sure that the money they gave us was spent in the right ways to actually help them grow their businesses. So for me, that was really, really important that, and look, at the end of the day, digital is where you should be advertising. Digital is where you should be marketing. So even, when I started Digital Influence 2016, digital was just getting started. Facebook was still for kids. We're a Facebook only business at that time because I had a restraint of trade from selling my other business. So it was really an opportunity to get in and show businesses how they could use Facebook, and then it just grew from there.
So I'll go back to the product market fit, or not just product market fit, but just knowing that this is something that is needed in the market. There's so many digital marketing companies in New Zealand right now, totally. Agencies. Yeah. When I want to take me back to Digital Influence, when you were thinking about it, I know that you've had the corporate history, and was it that you've seen gaps? Like, I want to get into the thinking of an entrepreneur.
Yep.
And I want to get into that thinking process.
Yeah.
And
well, the thing is, at that time, the real interesting part is, what I find really interesting is mainstream media. John Campbell was coming on TV and telling everyone you needed a Twitter account.
Okay.
So I was running seminars and people would come up to me and go, oh, we need a Twitter account. And I'm like, what for? And because, well, John Campbell said. And I was like, hang on, that doesn't make any sense to me. So I got curious about that. Why are people thinking like this, And it's because, they wanted to, there were people spending money in the digital space making money, but it was so confusing. I don't know if you've ever tried to deal with Meta or Google at the time. Really, really frustrating and really, really hard for business owners. So I saw the opportunity there. Hey, I'm old enough to talk to these business owners, but young enough to understand the digital space. And that's where I really saw the opportunity. But also, my ability was to be able to speak to them. and to actually show them how they could make money from this, the ability to actually see what they've got and see the gap in the marketplace. I had a framework that we use a lot. Don't really share this all the time, but you want to...
Tell me.
Well, I was lucky enough to be in a conversation one day, and it was really, really interesting. Like this company was an immigration company, and they were spending, I think it was at $5,000 or $6,000 a month on search engine optimization. And they were in Wellington. They were really, really frustrated with the company they were using because they weren't getting any traction. And I was like, well, you're not going to get any traction. And they were like, what do you mean? I says, well, let's look at where you can win. Okay. And this is the phrase, this is the philosophy we use all the time now, is where can you win? Because here's the thing. The keyword they're trying to go after, Immigration New Zealand, who do you think owns that?
The ministry, right?
Yeah. So how are you as a business going to rank for that particular keyword? You're not, right? But they were sold a dream and saying, hey, because the dream was if you get in front of that traffic, you're going to make XYZ dollars. Well, the reality is you need to audit the assets that you have, the website, the content on the page, your videos, all that type of stuff. They were never going to rank for that. So we found other areas, the pros and cons of living in New Zealand. Still good lot amount of traffic looking at that and hardly any competitors. So it's about looking at, hey, where can you win? And really understanding that and what people are actually searching for. The crazy part about it now, it's all changing as well. So
so you saw a need, you saw a gap in the market, and you understood that people are not getting what they wanted from a digital marketing agency.
Yeah.
And you thought you could deliver something different.
Yep. Because I'd had experience doing it. I had another business before and sold it, and I knew like we could execute it. And when I say we, it was only me at the time, but I knew I was going to grow a business again.
How did you know that it was working? What you were delivering to people, to your clients? So like, I want to take you back as the startup entrepreneur for digital influence. Yep. And wanting to understand from you, you were thinking about, I need clients, I need to figure out my PR strategy, my marketing strategy. How did you actually market yourself? The marketing guru?
Yeah.
How did the marketing guru market themselves?
Back in the day, we did a lot of seminars, a lot of workshops. And what I loved about that is just face-to-face, talking to people, and we'd have an offer at the end of those seminars. We do a lot of free ones. So we'd deliver just value in advance. And one of my core beliefs and values is give value in advance, right? And we just deliver value, give them opportunities, show them what's happening, show them what's working.
So if I'm a 25-year-old young entrepreneur, it's just about to start my my thing, and I'm super confused about how do I even get people to trust me and work with me and know me. How do I even get into the space of running a seminar? Because I want to pause on that. You mentioned seminar and webinars, that's good. How do you even do that?
Do a seminar or just get business?
Maybe we can go with the seminar.
Yeah.
And why would you pick a seminar? There's so many other different things people can do as a marketing strategy. Yeah. You've got you tell me, what sort of things people can do?
Here's the thing. How many people are doing seminars today? They're probably not, right? They've all gone this way. You should be going that way. And the thing is, with AI and all this sort of stuff, more and more people are going to start creating content that's all the same. So you should be doing something different. And a workshop and seminars could be the one thing that makes you stand out. One thing, you have to know what you're talking about. No point getting up there if you don't know what you're talking about. But if I was starting out again, though, I would definitely do that. But I'd also do short form video content, because it builds know, like, and trust. People, you get a chance to share your character, you get a chance to build chemistry, and you get a chance to demonstrate credibility. And that is what short form video content can do.
How can the 25-year-old start doing short form content? Do they have to go and get the camera and hold that up and film themselves, or
could do?
How does it work?
Yeah. As simple as getting, most phones these days have more technology than most cameras. So, look, I have a 17-year-old that works for me. He vlogs and creates his own content. These kids are native to that. A 25-year-old will probably be native to it. They'll know what to do, how to do it. And if they don't, like, it's so easy today to just go and learn on YouTube. Like, seriously, you can learn whatever you need to learn on YouTube today. If that's the dream that you have of starting your own agency and getting business.
What type of content should they be filming? And by the way, this could be a 25-year-old, like a 35-year-old, or even a 55-year-old.
Yeah.
And I think the one is, as like I've seen people get older, they find it difficult to get that camera out and film themselves. So what kind of content will work?
Yeah. I think it's a good question around what age and stage you're at too.
Exactly.
If you have more money and less time and you just want help, you should get someone to help you.
No money, no time, no support.
Yeah. So
I mean, actually, no money, no support, but they have time.
Yeah. So one thing I'd always go back to is who is your ideal audience? Who is your target market? Who is it you actually want to reach? Who is it that you want to who else could actually spend money with you? The product that you have, who does it actually target it towards? One video I always tell people to create is, and it's really simple. It's who you are, where you are, what you have to offer, and why people should buy from you. A really, really simple video. But
is this what you did? Is this what you did? You did the workshops and then the short
I shared a video the other day. It was 2011 with my team. I shot it in 2011, telling people how the internet was going to take over and businesses were going to be buying online. And it's really interesting to look back. My office at the time was kind of a quarter of the size of this the room that we're in. It was tiny, and I shot that video. That's exactly what we did, and just being prepared to. And that's a hard thing with video. Everyone's critical of their own videos. Everyone's critical of their own self, right? And it stops a lot of people from doing things, right? I always say to people though is, hey, in video, talk to 1 or 2 people. If you need a bit more energy, talk to 3 people. Just pretend they're there, and deliver value to them in advance of them ever giving you any money. Because then you don't have to worry. Because if they're not giving you any money,
Okay. So when it comes to you starting out your business, you went for the digital world, trying to help people out there in the world. You were like, okay, well, a seminar and a webinar would be good. And you also talked about short video content. What else? Maybe if we just go back to what other strategies did you use? And I want to also take you to the present day now and compare the strategies and what you're doing right now to help your business. So what else did you do at the start?
What else were we doing at the start? We were running our own ads, so we're spending money. Massive believer in, you can't be, especially as a marketing company,
right.
You cannot be telling people to spend money on ads if you're not spending money on ads. It drives me nuts how many people don't actually market themselves.
How did it help you at the time?
Just the more people that knew us, the more people with the eyeballs we're getting in front of. My ground there, I guess I was lucky enough not to go to university. So I learned marketing on the streets, right? I learned from entrepreneurs who were doing it. One thing I started to realize in marketing and in business, and it was a formula, and I've put this formula together, and it's basically consistency of message plus frequency of reach to become relevant. The more relevant you are to the stage where the person's at, the more sales you will make if you're in front of the right target market. The challenge is most businesses don't have a consistent message. They don't have a clear and compelling message. That's even so much more important today. You're going to have the one thing that makes you king or queen today, because AI is going to make things so much more noisier. So if you don't stand out, you're dead in the water. And then you have to have that frequency of reach, and that's what advertising gave us. Frequency of reach to be in front of people time and time and time again. So we became relevant.
How did you hone your message for you? I want to speak from experience here. And
trial and error.
Test
and measure. Seriously.
When you first sat down on the table and you're like, this is the kind of people I want to be serving.
Yep.
So someone's sitting thinking, I want to know that thinking process.
We had two really clear avatars, right? And what I mean by avatars is people that we wanted to sell to was Colin and Claire. Colin was 45 plus. He had success in his business. He was frustrated by traditional advertising, and he'd had success with traditional advertising, radio, TV, yellow pages, etc. But he was frustrated by that. Claire was pretty much the same, and they wanted to know why their marketing wasn't working. So we were really clear around those pain points to them, and we were really clear about their message. One thing we understood early was and we're really clear about this now, we even strengthen this now, is you must design your marketing strategy to pick the tactics to produce the results you want. So that went against the grain of what everyone else is saying in the marketplace. Everyone else is saying, you've got to run Facebook ads, you've got to run Google ads, you've got to run this, you've got to run that, you've got to do short form video content. We talk about strategy first, which really allowed us to cut through and still allows us to cut through today, because most people are getting sold a tactic.
So what was your tactic?
Our tactic? Go strategy first.
And what was your strategy?
Well, to help those people and really get them results. And so that's one of the key things that we work on.
Who were your people at the start?
At the start, Colin and Claire. So they're older business owners.
Older?
Yeah, older business owners. Yep. They see digital but are really confused by it. But at the same time, and they don't really understand marketing or advertising either, but they're really good at what they do. And this is the thing I still love today, is we help business owners that are really good at what they do, market what they do, so more people can find out about them. And I love that, because marketing to a lot of people can be a foreign language. But at the end of the day, I can't change a car tyre either. I can't put even windscreen wipers on my car, but I know people who can. But I know how to market those businesses, right?
Okay.
So it was definitely the older business owners that we were
you were targeting with. And those who are very naive about how to even get online?
Well, no, not naive. They had a presence. They actually had web. They generally would even have something going, but just not working. They'd heard about this thing to do. Yeah. And even now we work in with a lot of internal marketing teams. So big businesses that have internal marketing teams. But marketing's changed so much. Back in the day, probably 7-8 years ago, you could have a marketing manager that did it all. Now you can't. So we work with a lot of internal marketing teams that might have a marketing manager, a coordinator, and someone who does their PR, but not people that are focused in on their digital. So now we bring 15 to 17 experts to their game, which makes them a lot stronger.
So you had an idea of who you wanted to serve. You had... What was it? Colin and
Claire.
Great people. And clearly when you had that idea, you were like, this is who I want to help. Yeah. And this is how it's going to influence my messaging. Because everyone talks about messaging, you need to be direct with your messaging.
Totally.
If someone has no clue, how do you even do your messaging from your avatar? Yep. If someone sits down now and have an avatar, like, how do I transform the content, the information from this avatar into my messaging, my marketing messaging? Yeah. How do you transition? How do you move from that? What did you do?
Good question.
At the start?
Well, what we did is we understood who we helped. We understood their pain points. They were frustrated. So we created a product, a series of products that actually helped them get results. And then at the start, we also guaranteed, here's what we're going to do, and here's how we're going to get you results, and we'll guarantee it for you. But a really good example of that is I had a lady came in originally when we first started Digital Influence. She'd spent 40 odd grand on beautiful looking website, sign written car. She had probably the best brochures I've ever seen, and she had business cards. Guess what she didn't have? Sales. She had no sales, right? She had all this stuff done, all these tactics done, but no sales. And I talked to her and I said, well, how many people have you actually talked to about what you do? She goes, no one. And I said, well, hang on, let's take a minute. Because here's what a lot of business owners need. They actually need an order form, and they need to go and talk to 10, 20, 30, 40 people that can give them, some money. If they've actually got a good product and and it suits this target market, you should be going and talking to people first, not creating something. And I learned this lesson real hard. I left a really good job, and I started selling plastic toothpicks. What an opportunity! And this was a long time ago. And it was an advertising play on the plastic toothpicks. Anyway, I got kicked out of a bar by this business owner, by the bar owner. But one thing he said to me on the way out, and he said, see this laddie, and he's holding up a pint of beer. People want this. See this laddie? And he held up a wooden toothpick. People need this. People buy what they want, not what you think they need. So get that out. And it struck me, and it's never left me. And it was probably one of the biggest marketing lessons I was lucky enough to get. starting out is people buy what they want, not what you think they need. Too many people go and create stuff that they think the market needs. And this is what I would say to a young entrepreneur. Don't create something you think people need. Go and talk to people with an order form and say, hey, I'm creating this. Would you buy it? Is this a want? Too many people do it the other way because they like to get in busy work. I'm building this, I'm building that. In reality, you end up building nothing. That lady, she went and spoke to 20 people. She made 10 sales. 3 years later, she sold that business for money. Now, her husband was about to stop her from spending any more money on that business because beautiful looking website, beautiful sign written car, great brochures, no sales.
And so you just had to go out and chat to more people.
You're going to talk to people, find out. Well, because here's the thing.
Can you please?
But you find out. Here's the thing.
Yeah, but if someone is really not good with that, a lot of people hate going to speaking to people.
You're going to struggle starting a business. I'm sorry. If you're 25 and you can't talk to people, you're going to struggle. Here's what I'll tell that person: go to Toastmasters. Seriously, in the world we live in right now, you cannot struggle having conversations with people. You're not going to survive in a business, in my belief, if you can't face-to-face communicate with someone. Like the world is changing. The world is going to AI. And for your opportunity to stand out. And I actually spoke at the university last year about this. You know, a whole bunch of people, I said, who's worried about AI? Everyone put their hand up. I said, here, do you want to combat it? Yes. I said, go to Toastmasters.
Why?
Because you have to learn to communicate. And good thing about Toastmasters is they give you frameworks that will actually help you get over your fear. And I know this because I went there and I saw people that could not talk a word without going blush red and just about crying at the end of 12 weeks, standing up there and communicating with people.
Okay. So Toastmasters is your go-to?
It was when I was there. You know, okay. I was lucky enough to go. Here's the thing. 26-year-old me, and this is interesting, 26-year-old me was really arrogant. I was in the corporate world, was making good money, and I remember going to this conference in Taupo. A guy got up and spoke at the conference. It was amazing, and he was actually the world #1 Toastmasters speaker. It was an incredible talk, and I just thought that was really good. Next morning, I spoke to the owner of the conference. I said, hey, that guy that spoke was awesome. And he goes, yeah, well, he should have been for 15 grand. And like, this was 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And I was like, 15 grand? He spoke for 45 minutes. And I was like, right, I have found my thing. I am going to Toastmasters. So I signed up for Toastmasters, and there was this thing called Speechcraft. It was a 12-week course. I went in there, and I remember day one, and it was the most humbling experience I've ever had in my life. And it put me on my ass straight away. And so you went round the table, and there was a group, I think it was about 15 of us, why you're here. And cocky me, I'll go first. I'm here because I want to make money. And I've seen what you can do when you speak, and I'm just going to make money. And next person, I'm feeling really good. And it gets round, probably halfway around, it gets to this lady, and she's a black lady, she's from Ethiopia, and I start to see her go red. And you could physically see that fact that she was about to speak, and she was terrified. It gives me chills just thinking about it. And then she leans in, she goes, I'm here because I'm a stroke nurse, and I want to communicate better so I can save more people's lives. And I went, whoa, you such and such, in my head. And from that day on, I was like, you know what, just give value and serve people. Don't never worry about the money. Just serve people and learn to communicate better. And that's, you know, from where I've, I guess, come from, you know, failing English at school, failing maths at school, it was hard. It was hard for me to communicate. But that lady, in a way, made me realise that to be a better communicator, you have to do things that you're not good at. And that, for me, was speaking at the time.
So that was you, when you were looking at starting your businesses early on in the day.
Yeah.
How about when taking you back to digital influence, and you were, you know, starting your business, trying to find the clients, trying to get on the workshops or seminars. What did you do that made the webinar or seminar successful and able to create trust and attract new clients for your business?
Well, one of the key things, and I learned this early on from some people, is only share after you've done something, right? So don't share stuff you've never done. So we would go and get results. I'm going to say we, it's me. We'd go and get results, right? But I always thought of we too. I never thought like it was all about building something because I'd done that before. But I'd go and get results, and then I got an employee and we'd go and get results, and then we'd share those results 6 months later. So we were speaking from a position of hey, here's what we've done, and here's how you could do it too. And by the way, if you want some help, we're here. So I was always a massive believer in, hey, just get the results first and then share the stories. I'm also, one of the things I'll always talk to business owners about is get known by the success of your customers. And I am a massive promoter of results, because I believe it's one of the things that makes you stand out, is right, the results you've got for other people. I think we've just hit over 133 5-star Google reviews for a digital marketing agency. That's pretty cool. We'd be up there as one of the most reviewed, definitely in Canterbury, and we want to move that up into New Zealand. But that is one of the key things as well, right? Is just getting results. So we were really focused on getting results for our customers. And then because we're getting results, and it's really interesting, when you deal with successful business owners, and this was the Colin and the Claires, they were successful, right? Guess what they do? They just refer you to other successful business owners, because all of a sudden, this is the cool thing about media today, is people can see the things that you're doing for them, and so their friends would go, who's doing that? Who's doing that? Who's doing your media? Hey, you guys are everywhere at the moment. Like, who's doing that for you? And naturally, business would come to us from that as well.
And this is how you guys grew?
Yeah, we definitely grew from word of mouth at the start, but now there's that, but there's also just our ads and media is a massive part in how we grow now. As I said before, we came 2 leads in before 9 o'clock, all tracked back to meta ads, and our content.
What do you remember? What conversations you had with clients, trying to get them to communicate to them that you are the right, you're the right person to work with, whether that was like you're a one-on-one or during the seminar, after a seminar when you've said, if you liked what you've seen, come and talk to me. When someone come and talks to you, what did you, if you go back, how did you do it?
Yeah, definitely, obviously build that rapport with people, and share a bit about your character and share a bit about your business and what you're trying to do as well with people. But also then find out what are they about, what makes them tick, why are they actually doing what they're doing. Really go into that and see, who these people are. A lot of the times, and what I love about business owners is, and it's probably business is probably the hardest personal development sport. I look at it like that. It's the mindset of a business owner is really, really crucial when it comes to marketing, whether they're going to make it in the marketing their business too, right? So understanding their mindset, and then just talking through, hey, what are some of the successes they've had in the past, and why did that work? Okay, where do they see the opportunities? You find out some really interesting stuff when you start talking to people, and it might be, I have a saying, small hinges swing big doors. It might be that little thing that they say. A good example is we were working with a heat pump company in Christchurch. We were interviewing to start working with them, and it was just as a law change was about to come in, and it was like a sweet spot. He knew the law change was about to come in, and we then knew how to market that angle. So it's about, business owners are smart. They know what they're doing. They just want someone to actually help them with the thing that they're working on. And so we would just sit down and talk to people. And from there, we'd build trust, and then from there, we'd present them with an opportunity to do business with us.
Quick one. Mina here. Thank you for watching this episode. I appreciate you. Thank you for all your support. One thing that you can do for me is to please hit the subscribe button below. I promise you that if you hit subscribe, I'm going to work hard to make sure that my episodes are really good, that will get better and better. So, do we have a deal? Okay, back to the episode. So these are some of the early conversations that you were having with your people. Did you come across some people that you didn't want to work with? And you wouldn't have known that you don't want to work with these people at the time.
Yeah.
But somehow you've learned as an entrepreneur with that new startup that there's a number of people that I just don't want to work with, and here's how I found out. The point of this question is for people listening going, I just don't want to waste my time working with time wasters.
Yeah.
And how do you know when someone, it's hard to know if someone is not interested in your product or a service.
Yep.
And they, when do you stop following up and all that kind of stuff?
One thing we did, it's a good question because that happens all the time, right? Even today, you meet people who go, oh no. The cool thing, what I've learned over the years is, you're not going to help everyone, right? And not everyone's ready for you to help them too. And you've got to actually be really careful when you market a business, because if you market a product that's kind of rubbish, or the business owner doesn't have the mindset to grow, you're going to end up in a world of trouble because they're just not ready for it, right? So one thing we did early on is we put in a what we call a strategy session. Now it's called a high performance review, and we charge money for that. There's a good chunk of change people have to pay to get in the door to work with us. If you can't afford that, you're probably not going to be the right client for us. And I would say to the business owner looking to start, go a little bit slower when you started talking to some business owners, because you want to make sure it's a right fit. It's real, every business owner will smile when they hear this. You're going to work with the wrong customers. You're going to take on the people that you thought were good and then just are not. You're going to take them on too cheap. You're going to wake up 3 months later and go, oh my God, why did I do that? So I would go a little bit slower at the start. That would be my advice to the person starting out, because you know what, one bad client can actually ruin a good business. Especially one thing I'm really protective of today is the clients that we have. We get together with our clients. This Monday coming up, we've got a lunch and learn. We're going to have probably 80 of our clients in a room together. I don't want to have people that shouldn't be in that room. So we're protective of who we work with. How we do that is we have a really good product at the start, which is like the gateway to get into our world.
If you do end up in the wrong hands, if you end up in with the wrong customer, how do you know when to get out?
If you've picked the wrong customer, you have to have an awkward conversation. You really do. We call it courage over comfort in our business. We have a couple of core values, and that's one of them. And the other one in that situation is address the elephant, eat the frog. You actually have to have tough conversations. Is it nice? No. But at the end of the day, if you're working with someone and it just feels like work and you're butting hair, marketing is a real partnership. And I'm speaking from a marketing perspective here. When you're working with a business or businesses, it's a real partnership. You actually have to be on the same page together. So if you're not, guess what? Someone's got to go.
You mentioned something about mindset. Some customers are not just in the right mindset and they can't see beyond their own thinking and they're not kind of trusting you to take them on to the next step. What would you, if that's what you see, if that's what you saw early in the day and you can tell that someone's just not quite grasping something, they're just not open to change, do you just close the door and move on?
Totally. Yep. Got too many clients and it's too busy to worry about, you can't
because you're going to have to change their mindset and it takes so long.
No, it has to, they have to be ready, it sounds,
How do you know they're ready though?
Oh, you can tell. You can tell when they're ready.
What do you think the signs for you?
When they start talking about their growth, what they want to do, the growth that they want to do. When they start using words like helping people, their vision and stuff, they actually have. I love it. We had a client come in the other day. Well, not a client. He's doing the first stage, but he's talking about vision. He shared us with his core values. He shared his purpose. He shared how his leadership team meets. And I asked him how he was building leaders and who's in the business and where is the business going to, that's a conversation, you know when someone has done that work that they are ready for you to put the gasoline on a product, and their product is beautiful, and their product is a dream to work with. Like I know my content team will make this go pop, and he'll get great results from it. The beautiful thing as well, he's spent money on traditional marketing. He knows marketing works, but he's just realized that marketing that way has stopped. He's realized word of mouth has stopped, and word of mouth, not so much his older group of word of mouth has stopped. They've retired. They're not. So there's a real opportunity for him and his business to grow. And when you meet that kind of business owner.
Well, when it comes to, maybe I want to step into now the offers. Like you had to, when you were starting out, you're like, I have a new business. I want to market it. I'm going to go to some workshops. I might just chat to some people. I have to have confidence speaking in person. I need to figure out the time wasters, tie kickers, they call them. What about the framing of your offer? Go back in there and go, how did you know an offer was good and the pricing was okay, the value was there, and the packaging and all that stuff, like the productization of your work, of your services?
We looked at we had a couple of different things, and I learned this from a couple of different people. One was Darren Presley, having a product for prospects. So we had the free. So for us was a workshop. Or
you always had something free.
We always had something for free.
Is this something that you recommend as a
Yeah,
standard?
like taste the ice cream. Like get people into your world. Have something for free. We do a podcast. That's free, right? Like we interview people, we speak on our podcast. It's free content. We're always giving value in advance. And so having something for free was really, really important. Then a product for prospects. So something that's worth a little bit more money. And that was really cool. So that was what our strategy sessions were. I think at the time we were good chain 216. We were charging about $4.99 for a 90-minute session, and then we started ramping them up. And now they're a completely different product. They're a high-performance review. It's incredible, the report that comes out of it. Very bespoke, but it's more money, but it's still a product for prospects.
I'd love to go into how things have changed. But going back into your $4.99 strategy session for 90 minutes, why did you pick that? Why did you pick a strategy session? Why was it 90 minutes? Why was it $4.99? How did you come up with all these?
How did we come up with them? Look, seriously, we had to come up with something. So we whiteboarded it and going, okay, what can we offer? I really believe most business owners don't have a strategy when it comes to marketing. So we would just sit down with them and go through a framework. We had a questionnaire to start with. So a lot of people will come in the door, and there's two types of people, right? Someone who's filled in the questionnaire like fully, and the other person that hasn't touched it. The ones that have touched it, it's really interesting. They'd say, I've never thought about my business this way. This is so good, blah, blah, blah. I feel like I've got value already. The other person is, you just take them through the questionnaire in the session, but you'd be helping them along the way. But remember, I came from that working of where can you win. So our lens was always looking at where can this person win. So, we've come up with an offer, and part of this is figuring out where they can win. So we've framed that, right, in our seminars. Where can you win? Mm-hmm. We're going to look at where you can win. Pricing wise, we started at $4.99, and we just keep ratcheting it up.
What made you pick $4.99? What was the decision behind it?
I think 90 minutes. Couple of lawyers would charge $200 an hour. It wasn't like really strategic or anything. It was
right.
Like, okay, what can we feel comfortable selling?
Right.
And
were you thinking, what would I pay for this kind of work?
Not really.
Would I be the customer of my own product?
Yeah. I knew the product was good. It wasn't great,
and
though.
What would I pay to get this product that I'm offering to other people?
Yeah, well, definitely. To spend 90 minutes and to to get that advice. People, there was enough people paying, and there was enough people referring other people that it was a good product. It was a product that people, to get clarity. That's what they were prepared to pay for it. So
paying for clarity.
Yeah, clarity, and also where they can win, and what could they do from then on, right? So that was definitely in the early days, the product we have now is so much
It's
better
different.
because of the evolution of that product as well.
Of course, yeah. And it's a natural thing that you continue to improve it. So you went on and you had a chance to sit down with somebody and have a chat. And you were thinking, I've charged, I've marketed that strategy session, obviously after your workshops, you have a chat and then so the person, someone in your shoes, in a lawyer or even plumber, thinking, I'm going to have to offer someone something for free or do some sort of thing to be able to market my work, and then I have some sort of introductory prospect offer.
Yep.
And what was the other thing? Was there a different type of offer for a lead?
Yeah, no. So then you'd have a product for customer, like for a customer. Then obviously we sell a retainer model. So businesses pay us monthly. So we had different retainer models based on what those people want, and it really came down to the people, the business owners, and the goals that they were after. And so a little bit how, I guess, for us is we will talk to you about your business, and we'll understand the numbers. Okay, so, what are you prepared to pay to get a customer? Okay, what do you mean by that? Okay, well, what are you prepared to pay to get someone to give you money to do business with you? I've never thought about that.
Exactly.
Okay, well, cool. What's your product worth? What's the lifetime value of this? How many people, if they buy from you, how many times are they going to buy again and again and again? How many people could they refer to you? There's a whole bunch of this ecosystem that no one looks at, no one talks to a business owners about. So we would talk to a business owner about that, and we still do a lot of that today. It's really understanding those numbers, because then you go, okay, because the sad part for a lot of business owners, they don't spend enough money on marketing. And they don't give themselves enough time for it to be successful too. And part of that is just really educating them on that. So we would do that. We were spending time educating them and figuring out, okay, well, you can actually afford to spend this much. The cool thing about it is most people back in the day, they weren't doing that. So our clients could get results because they could stay longer, and get basically consistency reach, frequency of reach, and become more relevant to those people.
Did you ever use emails or phone calling people, cold calling, or early in the day?
Not cold calling, definitely email, and definitely direct mail. So I actually built a search engine optimization company off the back of direct mail. And we were doing that in the early days of digital influence as well, direct mail. But when I talk about direct mail, like we were sending hammers in the mail, we were sending tape measures, we were sending $5 notes, we were sending a whole bunch of different stuff to get attention. And that was, you could still do that today.
What do you recommend people use direct mail, like post? Send things in the post?
If you want to do stuff that wants to get attention, totally. Because
what would you recommend people do?
Oh, well, it really comes down to
give me an example.
So let's say you're a plumber. You could send a tap in the mail. Especially if you're a commercial plumber, if you're looking to get commercial work, you could. This is one I've actually seen created. It was brilliant. It was a Heineken bottle, and it was in, like if you have a fire, you got to tap the glass to push the button down. It's like in those buildings. They created a case and they sent it in direct mail with a letter saying, hey, tap this case at 5:00 on a Friday and open up the Heineken bottle. And that was a plumber getting in front of commercial buildings and their owners. So do you think that's going to get attention versus an email?
No. Yes.
It is, isn't it? Like an email is going to get ignored today. Like if you're trying to win business and send emails to a commercial manager or who looks after all these buildings, he's probably got 1,000 emails he's got that week. He's guaranteed he's got nothing when it comes to direct mail that's been in front of him, right? So, I guess that's the opportunities for us. We were targeting builders, etc. We were sending them hammers. Your website's getting hammered online. Tape measures. Your marketing doesn't measure up. And
do you send a letter alongside
letter
of
with
it?
it. Yeah, 2-page letter.
And they'll get to read it. And how
most of them won't read it, but you ring up, you follow up.
Oh, you do.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
so you actually send the thing.
Yeah, and then follow up.
And then follow up with a call.
Yeah.
And what's a conversation like? Do you remember a typical one that you remember?
I remember when we were sending $5 notes out, what the conversation was, because people would go, you'd ask if they got the letter with a $5 note, and it had Sir Edmund Hillary on it. And the reason we put Sir Edmund Hillary is because your website's not scaling the heights of Google. Unlike Sir Edmund Hillary, who climbed the highest mountain, we think you're missing out on opportunities.
Nice.
And we'd also on the second page of the letter, we'd put the competitors that this letter was being sent to as well. And so that always. So you had two things: people would call you and say, "Hey, let's come and have a chat," or you'd call people and they'd go, "Oh no, I never got that $5 note. Can you send us another one?" And then they'd laugh. And then you just book a meeting from there. So
okay. And did you find that was more successful, less successful, similar success to other ways of marketing your work?
Marketing, you just have to try stuff. You have to do stuff, right? Yeah. Would it be as successful as it was back in the day? I have no idea, but there's so many.
Are you still sending stuff by post these days?
We send macaroons.
Oh, why macaroons?
I'm not giving you the strategy. Why macaroons? Because
why macaroons?
Well, I might be saying the wrong word too. The macarons is those little
macarons,
little
the
beautiful
French.
Yeah, that's so
desserts.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we send those to people that we want to do business with.
Oh.
Come in a 24-pack. It's a gifting.
Could be donuts.
It's a gifting strategy. It works like a treat.
Does it?
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
That is interesting. So you send desserts to people and that gets them to talk. Do you send it to them and then do you call them afterwards?
Yep.
And say, did you enjoy that?
Yep.
And then they'll say, oh, thank you for sending that through. So are you tapping into the strategy, the psychology of reciprocity, which is one of the principles of influence?
Yep.
And that's giving something to somebody for free.
Totally.
And they feel obliged to want to say something, give you something back.
Yep.
Is that...
Yeah, totally, because people don't know who we are, right? So we want to get in front of them. We want to be in their world. And if it takes sending a box of beautifully crafted French treats, then we'll do that. And we're really strategic on that. So we know who we want to do business with. We have our Dream 100. We've dialed in on that Dream 100 list.
What's the Dream 100 list?
Dream 100 is the top 100 businesses that we'd like to do business with.
Right.
And we strategically target them. And one, we know our content will get in front of them because we're targeting them with our content. But this is just another way for us to open up the door. And look, here's the thing. Are they going to do business with us straight away? No. Some of them already have agencies they're dealing with. Some of them already have a marketing team. But now they know who we are. And they feel good about knowing us. It's not like we've sent them something that's not nice. We've sent them something that they're going, hey, this is actually quite cool. We go and have meetings. People saying, oh, not right now, but we'd love to talk to you and keep you guys in the loop. The best part about that is, guess who we're now inviting to our lunch and learn on Monday? Those people as well.
So that's what you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now lunch and learn. We've got clients coming. We've got guests coming.
Do you do that in person or online?
What, lunch and learn? No, always online.
Oh, really?
Sorry, always in person. Always in person. Yeah,
Isn't
always in person.
that restricting how many people can show up?
Yeah, but we'll do them wherever. Like, what we want to build relationships with people. Like, the value today is in the eyeballs, face to face.
Right.
And this is, I saw something Mark Cuban said the other day, and when a guy like that says it, I listen. He said, you watch in 4 years' time, or 3 or 4 years' time, face-to-face meetings will go through the roof. And I'm like, yep, it happened after COVID. Everyone was sick of online meetings. Mm-hmm. I'm doing a workshop next week, and we're recording it, but it's for a national group of franchises that we look after, but we're recording it, but there's a whole group coming in person. They said to me, why don't you do this on webinar? We could record it easy. I said, no, I love talking to people face-to-face. We're going to get more value from having this conversation face-to-face. And in 3 years' time, when people are just sick of AI-driven content, we'll be winning because we'll be doing face-to-face meetings the whole way through.
Quickly, AI is here and it's disrupting all of us, disrupting our work, our play, and our businesses. You either learn about it and know how to apply, or you get left behind. Simple as that. So my friends at Academy X are running 10-week masterclass called Disruptive Technologies. It is going to teach you how to use AI and tech to shape your future and to walk away with skills that you can use immediately at work. This is so important to stay ahead of the curve, something that we talk about a lot on the show. So why wait? Click the link in the description and sign up. The course begins August 19th. Okay, back to the episode. I want to take you back to the product to prospect and the product to customer. And the whole point of that is to offer a low entry level thing to test if someone is going to be able to invest in your work.
Yeah.
And then maybe become a regular client.
But it's also a good way to see if you can actually help people, right? So it's give them value, give them immense value, but test to see whether you can actually really, really help them. And, it could be the point where, and this is a great example. So we've got a customer, Arctic Sammy. What a great, they came through this process 3 years ago. We did a strategy session with them. At the end of that strategy session, we said, hey, here's what you need to do. Because our goals with these reports and strategy sessions, you can do three things, right? You can do the work by yourself, you can ask us to do it, or you can take it to another agency and they can do the work for you. That's how good they are, right? So this company came in and look, we realised we couldn't help them right now. But we gave them, because we were just too expensive for where that business was at, but we gave them a detailed plan of what they need to do. The coolest part about that, 3 years later, they come back to us and oh my God, did they execute. They have created something that is so cool and now asked us, hey, can we become a client? We just had, in April, they had their biggest day of sales ever in their business. Bigger than Boxing Day, bigger than Black Friday. And so it's a combination of them working on their business really, really hard, two smart entrepreneurs that want to win, have a great product, have a great target market, and now putting our market in with them. So if you're doing something, when you're thinking product for prospects, think of something that adds really, really good value to someone. It gets them a win. It gets them along the track of actually, if you're in marketing, making them some money. If you're in PR, getting them their first lead. If getting them their first, news article, whatever it is. What can you do to get them that, or get them a result from that there? And also, hey, be real and say, hey, if you can't work with us at the moment, but hey, if you do this, this, and this.
Yeah. I was thinking about the strategy session that you're talking about and how it's transformed from then to what it is now. I'd love to just tap into that in terms of the transformation of what you offered at the start and how it looks now. How does it look like right now and why is it better?
One really good thing is a client came to us because we were doing a strategy session, but we'd call it, part of that was we were doing an audit. And a client said to us, hey, no one wants to be audited. And I was like, man, that's good advice, right?
Okay.
So we changed it to a high performance review. So it's a strategy session with a high performance review. So the strategy session, and I'm lucky enough to have a really good team involved with that now. I aren't involved in a lot of the strategy talk and sessions anymore. The questionnaires got better. We have a framework. We have a really amazing framework that we take the business owner through during the first 90 minutes. It produces part of the report that we put together. But the report, what we've done is we benchmarked over the last probably 15 years what good looks like and what great looks like from all of our clients. And so then we would go through. So we get access to someone's Google Ad account, someone's access to their Google Analytics account, their website, their Facebook account, the Meta accounts, everything. We get access to everything and we look at their results based off our benchmarks. And then we were able to produce the report off the back of that. So generally you'll see a report, 30 to 40 pages long, specifically tailored to that business. And then the business owner will then come back in. The coolest part about that is, once again, you get two types of people. One's like, haven't read it because it's 45 pages long. Another one is, underlined every part of that report and wants questions. So we spend the time because we realise, hey, they've got questions, so they come in and spend more time with us asking us questions.
So you'll have the report and you will invite them to discuss it later?
Yeah, they come because we ask them so many questions in that 90 minutes, sometimes 2 hours. We then build the report and then we let them come back and ask us questions.
Do you wait for them to come back to you?
We book a time.
I see.
But yeah, it's their time to ask us questions. And look, sometimes they don't ask questions, but the team will prompt them. They know the right questions to ask. And
and then do you say, would you like more help with your company?
It is interesting because we frame it at the start. Hey, the report is, you can do it yourself. You can ask us to do it, or you can get another agency to do it. So we've had it where people have actually gone, okay, well, I'm going to get someone overseas to do it. Haven't heard the results of that yet, but hey, I'm sure we will. People have saying, hey, we can implement some of this ourselves. And then naturally, like smart business owners, and I'm keep saying smart business owners, but business owners that know, that are experienced in paying for other people's times, and experts, they just go, okay, how can you help us? And that's a good fit, right? Like when people just say, hey, how do you help us? Because like good business owner is so busy, they're busy doing the whacking, the cracking every day of what they do. And they just want help. And we actually have the product that we have, and it's been really successful for us as marketing partner. We are a marketing partner to business owners now. And the cool part about that is I bring 15 experts to that marketing partner. And that's a growing team as well. And business owners, they get the best of the best. Part of one of our core values is world-class training, world-class outcomes. I believe in spending as much money as I can to actually help my team become world-class. We have specific training programs. If you want to do training, you bring the training to us. You can spend up to $200 without asking us on your training. So we are developing our team so the clients get the best results.
Well, you were talking about team. I just want to touch with you when you were just launching the business and you were by yourself.
Yeah.
And there's a point where you move from by yourself to you've got someone working with you. Did you hire someone from New Zealand or from offshore?
I had a team offshore when I had my first business, and so I actually had kept one of them, but they weren't doing any of the digital work that we were doing. They were just helping with a few other projects. The funny part is the first person I hired was Olivia, and she came to one of our seminars. She was working for a supplement company, and she came in for a strategy session. We did the strategy session. She came back the next day and said, I don't actually want to work for the supplement company anymore. I want to work for you. And I was like, well, I'm not hiring. She goes, oh no, but I'm really good at sales. So I was like, okay, well, what have I got to lose? I just hired her as a salesperson.
Well, you've got a lot of money to lose and a lot of money to spend. So how did you have to have the money to finance that?
Well, I was like, I'm already making sales. If she says she can sell, then she's going to make some of her income up, right? I'm a massive believer in that. If you hire people, especially in that selling environment, at least have half their salary and get them to make the other half up, right? So she came in, and I realised within 2 weeks she could not sell. So I said to Liv, hey Liv, you can't sell, but you've got some other good skills that we could use around here. I'm going to give you a job. So funny part is I gave her a job, and 2 weeks later I went on a 3-week holiday. I said, here's the keys, don't burn the building down, and just trusted her. And she's been with me for 9 years now. She's our operations manager. She's actually a shareholder in the business. She bought in. She wanted more skin in the game, and she just came in from coming to one of our events. And and I think that's the thing too. Like when you, as a business owner, if you want to grow, sometimes it has to be more than you, and sometimes you just have to know in your gut that it's the right time to do that, and back yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You're backing yourself. And if you're not prepared to back yourself, then who are you going to back?
Well, what about the biggest business mistakes that you've made with that startup back in the day? What do you recall?
Biggest mistakes? Definitely hiring the wrong people. I got told a couple of times, "Oh, please hire this person, give this person a role."
From who? From
just from other people that I was doing business with. And I wish I had trusted my gut and not hired them, because that can take a toll on you, as far as obviously having let someone go, but also just having to unravel all that as well, especially in that selling environment. People bring on the wrong clients. So that was definitely a big one. Probably another mistake is not spending enough money on marketing.
Yourself?
Yeah, we definitely weren't spending enough money, advertising ourselves. We were spending money, but we could have been spending more, and I think that's the thing, the advice I give to people today is, hey, what's the runway that you've got, right? Really understand, hey, this is the money I have, and here's how long I need it to work for, because, I realised, hey, we were bringing in customers. We could have bringing in a lot more customers if we were spending more money, getting in front of them. Definitely, that was definitely a big mistake. And also I realised myself trying to do too much was a mistake. Holding on to everything, thinking I needed to do a lot of things. And today I've learnt that lesson, and now I've built leaders within the group, which has been a game changer.
What were you doing too much with?
Oh, like little things. And they all grab your time, right? So booking the seminar venue, organising all the videographers, just running some of the advertising. There's a whole bunch of things. Checking the content was being created properly. There was a whole bunch of things I'm doing, and I realised, actually let go. Like, you've hired smart people, get out of their way. And one of the cool things is I've got some really good advice now, and, get coaching ourselves. And we have a lot of really good discussions and frameworks around the coaching that we get. And that really helps us as a business owner, or helps as a business team as well. So, not having a clear core values was a big mistake too.
Okay.
And then sharpening those up, that's been a game changer for us, and the culture that we've created off the back of those core values. It's pretty.
Did you not have any values at the start?
Not at the start. Never really thought about them. Never really thought about having any core values. And then I went and paid for a session with a leadership coach, and I just from core values is like, oh wow, that's all we need. Like, this is one of the things that we're missing. So sat down with him and down with...
You probably wouldn't have done it though when you were first starting out. That's the last thing you were thinking about, is to have values.
Yeah,
the last thing you're thinking about is to have...
Totally.
First thing is you're thinking, how can I get some clients now just to get going?
Yeah, and I think when you're first starting out, that's exactly what you're doing. When you're building a team though, you really core values is the key. It's the glue that keeps the team together. And now, look, I know this morning, 9:15, we would have had a stand-up meeting that had been, a couple of people online, 13, 14 other people in the room, stand-up meeting, and Wednesday is Own It Wednesday. So people will be sharing a moment either they've owned, the team's owned, or one of someone else they know is owned. And it's part of our Own It, Elevate It in 25. So that's culture, and that's values is a big part of that today.
If you would start this business again, right now, and it will burn down, you'll lose everything.
Thought about this so many times.
How would you do it differently?
I'd do what I'm doing now, as far as I would bring in a team.
Straight away?
Yeah, bring in a team.
But what if you haven't got any capital? You'll lose all your money and all your capital, all your resources, all your contacts.
I'd mortgage my house.
You don't have a house?
Well, I'd get an order form. I'd honestly get an order form, and I'd go talk to people.
You just go out and chat to people?
Go and talk to people. How
would you do it?
So I'd go to networking groups. Okay, firstly I'd think about, who is it I want to serve? If it burns down tomorrow, who is it I want to serve? Okay, and I'd also look at the marketplace and into the conversation that the market's having. Okay, so what is the conversation that every business owner is having at the moment? So how
would you know that?
Well, I would be going and talking to people, okay, and I'd be listening. The key is active listening. So I would actually go and, if I was starting out tomorrow and I had an idea, I'd go and read reviews from people that on their websites or on their Google reviews. Someone who's already doing what one thing I've got an idea of, right? I'd go and read their Google reviews. I'd go and read the good ones. I'd go and read the bad ones. I'd go to their anywhere else that were reviews. I'd go to their website. I'd go and see if they were running ads. I'd see if there's any comments on ads and what people are saying about that, because that'll start to tell me if there's a real market here. And also, I'd go and look at their Google ads. I'd go and look at their Meta ads. I'd go and start exploring, okay, there's money being spent here. That tells me there's an opportunity here. So then I'd galvanize, okay, once again, start off something for free. Okay, what could I offer for free in that market? What could I then have a product for prospects, and what would be my retainer? What would be my recurring income product? So I then go out and talk to people. I'd go out and I'd do what I did when I first started. So I went to BNI, Business Networking International.
Why did you choose BNI?
I just like the framework. I really do like. I don't like wasting time, and BNI wasn't a waste of time. It started, I think, at 7. It finished at 8:30. And the crazy part about BNI is I met a guy there who we've done millions of dollars of business with from meeting him probably 10 years ago. And it was a conversation in BNI. And he said to me, really like what you said. I said, mate, I really like what you said too. He said, but man, this meeting's boring. I said, oh yeah, it's not for everyone. He goes, shall we catch up later for a beer? Met him at 4:30 the next day for a beer. We've done business ever since. And so getting out and speaking to people, if I never went there, I would never have met that person, right? Putting yourself, because no one wants to stand up there and say what they're doing for a minute. I was in a group, and I was in the leadership team with one of the fastest growing groups in BNI.
In Christchurch?
Yeah, I think it might have been the Southern Hemisphere. We grew it rapidly, and it was because the earthquakes hit and the GFC and all that sort of stuff. So people needed to be around people. And we had a guy quit. He was the electrician, quit. And I was like, dude, this business, BNI is for you. Seriously, everyone needs a sparky. Couldn't do it. Another guy came along called Scott. He joined the group. He was an electrician. He stuttered. He would stutter. And sometimes it took him a long time to get his words out. Stayed in the queue. 4 years later, his business wins Westpac Business of the Year, blah, blah, blah. He got up on stage and spoke amazingly. And he said, that BNI group was part of, so someone's fear was someone else's opportunity, but that fear that person couldn't get up there and speak in front of people stopped his business from going. Another person had an excuse to have fear, didn't let it get to him, and later he grows his business.
So you would go out and speak to people at BNI. What else would you do?
Anywhere that people would have me talk, I'd go there, get in front of your ideal target market. If you've gone and done the active listening, if you know what the problems are of the marketplace, you've read a few comments, you can actually galvanize this, you've got an idea, then you just got to go talk to people, seriously. And hey, it could be about creating video content. That's another way of communicating with people, right? Getting out there, creating some long-form video content, explaining what you do, creating some short-form video content, being prepared to do some joint ventures. And this is one of the things I used to grow as well, is joint ventures. So we joint ventured with Westpac, BNZ, ANZ, and being prepared that, because here's the thing. One thing you want to ask yourself, especially when you're first starting out, is who has my customers before me and after me? All right, really simple question. Most people never ask it. Who has my customers, my ideal customer? Well, Westpac have ours. BNZ has had ours. ANZ had ours. What could we bring to the party? Well, we could bring a conversation. We could bring a presentation that added value to their customers. Any business owner can do that, It's just about, it doesn't have to be Westpac. It could just be the local design company. It could be the local, who has your ideal customer before you and after you?
What's surprised you about being in business the most since starting your brand?
What surprised me the most? I don't one thing is I don't get surprised by people anymore, and some people's ability to not follow through. I find that really, that I don't get surprised by that anymore. Mm-hmm. I know and understand now that not everyone has the same mindset. Not everyone is prepared to do the work. Not everyone's prepared to stay in the queue. I always remember a person asking me, really successful, he said, Scott, how do you get to the front of the buffet queue? And I was like, well, that's a weird question. He goes, well, how do you? And I said, oh, I don't know. He goes, well, you stay in the queue. And he says, most people won't stay in the queue. Most people will quit, and they'll quit too early. I said, you need to stay in the queue. You need to be resilient. And I find that's one of the things that's doesn't surprise me, that people, it's just too hard. Most people quit.
What's the mindset that you have got right now that you have you have to have? Or maybe perhaps what's kind of mindset that you had at the startup phase, and then the mindset that you've got right now, and how do you keep it and maintain it so that you keep winning, really?
Yeah. For me, mindset's a big part of my daily, and when I first started out, I came from the corporate world. Corporate world was a really interesting conversation. I went to the World Internet Summit in 2004, and I met a guy called Brett McFall. I remember Brett sitting down with him afterwards, and he says, Scott, if you want to be successful, just give people value in advance of them ever giving you any money. And I thought, that's a dumb tactic. I came from the corporate world. You never gave anything away for free, because otherwise people are going to take your lunch. And he goes, no, business owners, they need help. They need help. Just give them value in advance. And that was my mindset. I was just go out there and share and share and share. It's still my mindset today. But also my mindset now is, hey, how do I help other people in my team? How do I help build leaders? How do I use my experience to actually build other people up and really help them thrive? So that's a big part of who I am now, is really building leaders and giving people opportunities to win. Our theme for this year is own it and elevate it. And I'm seeing some amazing things happen in our team when you give people the opportunity to own what they're doing and elevate what they're doing. We have an Elevate Champion of the Month, and it's voted by the team members about who in the team has elevated this month. And one of the greatest things I get to do is that when we have the champion read out on that end of the month, is to read the comments that the other team members have said about this person. I've done this 3 times now, and there's tears always in the room. And I get the privilege to actually help young people be the best that they can be. And for me, that's a dream. I said before, I'm lucky I do this for free. I'm just lucky I get paid to do it. So my mindset now is I just want to help other people. I want to help my clients win, but I want to help my team win, and use the skills that I have to do that.
If you're thinking about the kind of people that you need to surround yourself with in order to stay in that space, it's always a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, totally.
How do you, firstly, who is in your top 5 that shapes you now, and how do you manage to spend time with them with all this chaos in life and everyone is so busy? Yeah,
great question. I'm lucky enough now with clients that I've got some very successful clients. They've become friends. Because one thing I'd learned, this is really interesting, when I first started Digital Influence, I went out for dinner with this client and another person, actually the guy I met at BNI, and me and my wife were sitting there and we had a great dinner, but I came home and said, what do these people want from us? This was too nice. And I was brought up that rich people were this, rich people were bad, people were greedy, all these mindset things. And I had to actually go to work, and I actually did some emotional freedom tapping to let a bunch of stuff go from some old beliefs. And one thing I realized is, when you work with successful people, they actually want you to be successful. And I thought it's really this contradicts to everything I'd learned growing up. So for me, my clients are in that circle. I've been in a mastermind group. I was in one here in New Zealand for probably, I think, 10 years. And it was a fantastic group. Still going today. We have a cup and all that sort of stuff. I'm not involved in it anymore. But that was a big part of, growing me and my business, was being part of that mastermind. I realised, though, that I needed to get in a bigger room. So twice a year, I fly to America. I fly to Miami, and I'm in a mastermind group with, I think it's around 280 of the best digital marketing agencies in the world. So my mind constantly is in that group. They have a Facebook group, they have meetings, they have, and to then go there and be around those people. And some of those people have become close friends, and we talk about stuff. And you've got business owners doing, you have to be doing over 7 figures as a minimum to get into the group. And then they've got different, and it's so good to be involved with people that are, doing what you're doing and doing more of what you're doing and having those conversations. So that's probably the big part of it. And then I just have a good group of friends and a great family unit that we discuss business, we discuss success, and the challenge with New Zealand is, I created a part of my character. It's called Celebrate Your Victories. I have a hashtag, and I've probably tagged in this now over 1,000 times, and I've gotten known as someone who celebrates their victories. The reason I created it is I want to go against the tall poppy syndrome that we have here in New Zealand. Like, some people don't like other people being successful, but here's the thing. I want to celebrate that, and I want to celebrate my client's success. So it was a great way to do that is with that hashtag. And I think, you should get around other people. And one thing I'll say to people as well, and I did this, and I didn't really realize the power of it, but go and ask people for help. Go and ask someone, hey, can I buy you lunch? Don't skimp and just have a coffee. Can I buy you lunch? If you see someone's doing some stuff and you want some help, go and buy them lunch. And if they give you the time and you ask them a few questions, whatever they give you, you make sure you do it and you follow up with what you've done. And I did that, and the guy is now a client. He's a massive business in New Zealand, but I met him probably 15 years ago for lunch. And it's being putting your fear aside, because it was scary at the time, because you put these people up on pedestals, right? But they're not. They're just normal people. They really are just normal people. And the most successful people will give you time. They'll actually want to help you.
It's been fantastic having you on the podcast, Scott. It's been, I think we're talking about mistakes and marketing and direct, just whatever, posting macaroons to people. I mean, that's never had that one before, so that's a real highlight for me. I would love to know, where can people find you to learn more from you?
Yeah, so I'll definitely on social media. I love LinkedIn personally. It's one platform I've been on a while, so you can have my my LinkedIn profile put in the show notes. But also go check out our website, getdigitalinfluence.com. And you can check us out on there. We have access to all our social media, and you can see what we're doing. We just created a new signature video. We actually just created a new website too, and I guess that's another evolution. You go from building stuff yourself because you're a digital agency, to actually then paying money to someone else to build us a website, and it's been a breath of fresh air. We're generating more leads now than we ever have from the one that we've built ourselves, and that's probably why we don't build them for our clients.
Nice. And I'm sure we could have gone for forever talking more and more about like leads and stuff. So maybe this would be a part 2.
Yeah. One thing I would say is you definitely tune in. You've got a great podcast, so get the listeners to tune in. And I have a podcast as well. And that's one thing I'd say to people. If you've got a idea and you like talking to people, definitely start a podcast inside your business. Like, you would have seen it, your business change because of it, and it's a great way to share. So thanks for having me on, and I look forward to sharing this with my audience as well.
So thank you for coming on the podcast. I'd loved having you, and all the best for the future.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for having me, and I look forward to sharing the podcast with my audience as well.
Thank you.